What a week of NFL action we just had. Conference championship in the books. We got a lot to get to. On top of that, we got Jays talk. We got Leafs talk potentially. So much going on. It's time for Garage Door Sports. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. We good to go? Let's do this. That's right, folks. We're back. Nick McVicker, alongside the man, the myth, the legend, Kyle Vardy. Kyle, we had a fantastic week of games. No doubt about it. It was awesome, which means that we have a lot to talk about. So why don't we... I'll give you dealer's choice. I was going to start with the Seahawks game, but do you want to start with your Patriots?
I mean, it's probably the quicker game to talk about, to be honest, because
Okay.
that Seahawks-Rams game was probably the more entertaining out of the two. So
I don't think that's a question at all. I think it's kind of obvious. So let's start with the Patriots, and they survive. That's the key here. They do survive, but it was touch and go there. So they get through the Broncos in the snow, and listen, credit to the Patriots because they did what they needed to do. And it's a tough game, especially when you get into that fourth quarter where the elements became so important. That made the entire game. They get through. Drake May does enough by not giving the ball up. Really, that's what it came down. He didn't give the ball up in a game where one turnover could have easily changed the entire outlook. I mean, we saw the Broncos go for it on fourth. They didn't get it. And now they could have got a field goal. It would have been a tie game. I think at that point they would have actually taken the lead. Either way, they don't get it. Patriots get a field goal later in the game, and Bob's your uncle. The Patriots are in the Super Bowl. What did you make of the game? What did you make of Drake May? What did you make of the defense for the Pats? I'll leave it up to you on this one where you want to go.
I mean, the game itself was horrible, to be honest. If I'm being quite straightforward, the Pats, especially in the second half, they went, okay, we're going to run the ball. If we get some points, we get some points. If not, you got to beat our defense. And their defense, outside of that one drive and one play, arguably, they had with Marvin Mims, Broncos had nothing. And Stidham kind of looked like a guy who hadn't thrown the ball since 2023.
Shocking. It's a
funny
shock.
Funny how that works. But in saying that, like, I will 100% give credit. This entire game came down to the Pats defense. 100%.
Yeah, it did.
And the fact that they're playing this way, it's I was reading something the other day, and it said this run for the Pats is very similar to the Ravens in the early 2000s, where their offense didn't do a whole lot, but they had one of the best defenses in the NFL, and that defense carried them all the way through. Which kind of leads to the next point. Drake May did enough to get it done, right? He knew when he had to take advantage with, not by much, but he knew what he had to do with the run, right? Calling his own number on that last play, kind of ballsy, but I kind of love it, to be honest. As a young quarterback, it's one of those, it's like, you have the confidence to call your own number when that's not the play that's called.
No.
But you have the confidence to call your own number and be like, I got this. I like it. It's a little arrogant. It's one of those, I'm going to be the guy to carry us here. This is my team. Let's do this. And even the Broncos were like, wait, what just happened? What? Like, who?
Yeah.
So it's also kind of crazy. The other thing too is Drake May throws for 3 touchdowns against the Texans, but gets criticized that he turned the ball over 3 times and could have been 5 if he didn't recover the other 2 fumbles.
Which is fair criticism of the turnovers, not fair of the whole game, I think.
Sure. But then this one doesn't turn the ball over, and everybody's like, well, where's his stats? Why didn't he throw the ball?
Yeah.
Right? Takes care of the ball. They win the game either way. So it's one of those, okay, do you want one or the other? To me, and especially this is what Vrabel said too, he doesn't care how he gets it done. Just getting it done is the key.
And you shouldn't care.
Yeah.
Like, you really don't need to care because
No,
when it comes down to it, you got the win.
correct.
You survived. So
Correct.
what are we talking about realistically here?
Well, I
Like,
say it's simple as this. They won the game. They move
mhm,
on. They get good conditions in San Francisco for the final,
I would
barring
hope
any
so.
like rain or something. Who knows?
Yeah, knowing their
Um,
luck.
yeah, 100%. But in saying that, it's one of those. It's a great matchup of two really good defenses, and it's all going to be a matter of which offense produces more. On paper, it looks like it's Seattle.
Yep.
That's what it looks like. That's why they're favored by what 4.5 points, I think, or something like
It was
that.
four and a half. I think it might have gone up to 5, but it might have come back down too. So it's the four
So
and a half, 5
yeah.
range.
And that's like I think it's gonna be a field goal game. I think it's gonna be
I
one
do
team's
too.
gonna have a chance to one either kick a field goal at the end to win the game, or two, it's gonna be they have a touchdown lead, or sorry, like it's gonna be like 27-24 or something along those lines, where it's have a chance to potentially tie the game,
Yep.
and it might be a missed field goal to go to overtime or something like that. Like that's kind of what the script is kind of leading towards here.
Yeah, and I could see that. Or if Darnold can connect early with those receivers and get Shaheed and get JSN going, they could boat race them too. As good as the Patriots
100%.
defense has looked, that offense of Seattle, when they're going, very few teams can compete with them. So that's
Yep.
where I agree. I think it leans close game, but I could absolutely see Seattle coming out and just boat racing them early and figuring it out the
100%. And
second way.
like as a Pats fan, I mean I could see the opposite too. Like I could see the Rams torched that Seahawks defense.
Yep, absolutely.
Absolutely torched it. Right? If Drake May can have one of his regular games that he had all throughout the regular season, they could torch that Seattle defense. All you got to do is double team JSN, and it's like, okay, who's going to beat us now?
Yeah,
Right?
that's fair.
The Pats have a way better run defense than the Rams do. Right? The Rams have a great front four. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
but their run defense in general is not that great. If the
yeah,
Pats
fair.
double team JSN, force Walker to run the ball, can't do it. It's Cooper Cup's going to beat you. Shaheed's going to beat you. If that's the case, and those are the wide receivers beating you, that's what happens.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Let's get into some sound from the game because we do have a few clips. Let's start with Drake May. He talked about the win and the team and everything. So let's start with May.
Props to this team, man. What effort out there tonight. We're going to the Super Bowl. That sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty cool. So just proud of this team, proud of the defense. We didn't play our best ball in the first half, and the second half came out and just battling the elements, snow and the elements. And it was a gritty win, and our defense, they stepped up. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a leader to me. I know that sounds crazy,
100%.
and we'll get into Sam Darnold's comments later because I thought he also had a very good kind of leadership role and leadership comment after their game. But he deflects. He understands that he didn't have a great game, but he gives credit where credit's due, and I give him a lot of credit for doing that. The other sound I wanted to get into, and this one's a little bit odd, but we'll go with it. Stephon Diggs spoke post game on what it means to be going to a Super Bowl for him.
What's up, crowd? How y'all doing? Never better. Truly. What does it mean? A lot. I mean, considering the circumstances, I'm just really thankful to be a part of this team, part around a group of guys that I got, this coaching staff and this organization, just mean a lot.
Strong. Like, this guy has been through a lot. And listen, we can talk about the off-field stuff at another time, and I don't really want to get into that right now because we're talking about the Super Bowl and everything that just happened. This guy has been through a lot in the game of football. I think he had the most or second most receptions in playoff history without making the Super Bowl prior to obviously making the Super Bowl, which is crazy. He is a talent on the field, and just listening to him there, you can tell how much this means to him, and I guarantee there's more players on that Pats team who the Pats are notorious for picking guys up off the scrap heap and making them work in the offense and the defense. There are countless players, I guarantee, on that roster that are just over the moon, so excited to be going to the Super Bowl. I wonder how that plays out, and we can get to that next week. I think, Kyle, would be a better time to talk about that.
Yeah, totally.
But these guys care, and care a lot, and it's just nice to see players who care, because we'll get into the Leafs later. There's a lot of players who play professional sports that it seems like they just don't care, which is disappointing.
It's like seeing the emotion on his face. You can tell what it meant to him to finally get to a Super Bowl. I think he really thought, with those Bills teams, that he was going to make one eventually, right?
I think everyone thought.
And I think it was a combination of that. Go back to Minnesota, the Minnesota Miracle, that kind of stuff. I think he thought some of those teams, he had a real chance. And then he got written off last year after his ACL.
Yep.
Right. Nobody thought he was going to come back. Everybody thought, oh, he's a shell of what he was, and so on and so forth. He's still the number one wide receiver on this Patriots team. Yep. He has shown it multiple times throughout the year that he has the leadership he can bring on, off field things aside. He has shown the reason why the Patriots, as you said, get all these older players and that kind of stuff, and they drain them for every last juice they have in their football body.
Yep.
And take full advantage of it. And I think it'll be an interesting story. If they go on to win, it'll be a very interesting story of how he continues to.
Absolutely. I agree. And it's going to take a lot to get the win in the Super Bowl. That Seahawks team looks really good, and we'll get into them in a bit here. But this Patriots team is no slouch, and I've been saying it all year. I know we have so many conversations in the office at work. Thankfully, you and me work together, so this is something that we can talk about.
Yep.
Lots of different fan bases, lots of different conversations about what it means and who's good and whatever throughout the year. The Patriots have been looked down on a little bit, which is crazy to say as a number 2 seed and a team that legitimately was good all year. But they were questioned because they did have an easy schedule because they were not good last year. It's usually how that works. And they took full advantage, but you have to play the teams on your schedule. You have to win the games on your schedule. And they did. And they won in many different ways. Sometimes they blew teams out like they should have. And sometimes it was a close game that maybe it shouldn't have been a close game, but they still managed to find the win. And that's what it takes. A good team finds a way to win. A great team finds a way to win when they're not playing well. And I think the Patriots all season long have done both, which I think that makes them a great team this season for sure. There's a handful of teams I would put in that category. Seattle is one of them, ironically.
The Rams are there too, to be honest.
The Rams were there too. I would say Broncos were there until they lost Bo Nix. They found ways to win even when they weren't playing well. A couple other teams. But regardless, those would be the big four. And here we are. 2 of the 4 of them are in the Super Bowl. So it's going to be a real challenge for the Patriots. I think people need to be realistic that they're not going to get run over, most likely, in this game. But we all know that people don't act realistic a lot of the time. So
yeah, I think the biggest statement about this Patriots team is they set an NFL record for going 9-0 on the road.
Yep.
Right? It's not easy to win on the road in the NFL. You can be playing anybody. And the fact that they set an NFL record of going 9-0 shows that they're not a pushover. It's not going to be a walk in the park. If it is, and defense doesn't show up or offense doesn't show up, one or the other, all power to Seattle. They deserve it. But it will not be easy. I can guarantee you that.
No. Which is great. It means that we are probably in store for a fantastic Super Bowl. Right?
As long as we have a good halftime show, that's the biggest key.
Well, yeah. it's going to be a controversial one either way. So
I'm curious if he actually wears a dress.
I wouldn't be shocked, but at the same time, I don't think that's the controversial part of his halftime
No,
show.
he's
So
supposedly he's supposed to be wearing a dress. So I'd be very curious if he actually comes out in a dress. That'd be very interesting.
it'll be interesting. Anyways, we can't even predict that because we got to wait until the halftime show to see what he actually decides to do. So,
I'm sure there'll be some sort of bet next week that you
100%, and we will absolutely look at some of those bets. I am very interested to talk with you about some of the prop bets for the Super Bowl because there's some fun ones, and we'll get big boards made up for you so you can talk about them. It'll be great.
I like it.
But for now, let's get to the other side of the NFL championship game now, and we'll talk about the NFC Conference Championships. And Seattle holds off the Rams in what was by far the better of the two games this weekend. There's no doubt about that. And Sam Darnold leads the way, 349 yards, 3 TDs, 0 interceptions, outduels Matt Stafford, and now the Seahawks are in the Super Bowl, led by Sam Darnold. Sam seeing Ghost Darnold is in the Super Bowl. Sammy Snipes. And before we get into the game itself, I want to talk about Darnold, and I want to talk about how impressive this run of his is, because he's doing something that I don't think anyone expected. And he spoke about the game in the post-game press conference, and I want to play that, and then I want to get into where we actually think his redemption arc ranks in sports right now. So let's listen to him, then we'll get into that.
Great team win. Great team win. We came out, we did exactly what we wanted to do on offense. I thought that was a great first touchdown drive, and then kind of hit a lull, in the second, third quarter. Got things going a little bit there in between those lulls, I guess. But just a total, complete team win. Special teams stepping up on the muff punt. Derek, recovering that was huge for us, especially going into half. So, and then getting the ball back. Our defense just playing lights out. That fourth down they hit, I think it was 4th and 4, something like that. Just an incredible stop by our guys. So just like I said, complete team win, and very proud of this group.
Yeah, I think that was a fair assessment of the game, to be honest. And kind of like what I talked about with Drake May, he sounds like a leader, right? He didn't go off script and start talking about individual players or anything. He gave credit to the team. He gave credit to everyone else. And this is a guy, a few years ago, people thought he was on his way out of the league, right? Because, and to be fair, I was one of those people because I thought that tenure in New York was awful.
It was even worse in Carolina.
Right. But I thought that was the start of the end in New York, and then he goes to Carolina, and it was bad. Turns out those were just two bad teams.
Correct.
At the time. Sorry, TJ. And then he goes to San Fran. He sits behind Purdy, learns from Shanahan, gets a chance with the Vikings last year, and then has a great year. And everyone and their mother basically said, okay, this is just a flash in the pan. He's not really that good. Let's take it for what it is. He's not that good. And then he follows it up and says, nah, this is real.
Yeah.
And puts up 14 wins again.
Crazy.
Like, where does this redemption story for a single player rank for you in sports? This has to be up there. This guy was seeing ghosts in New York.
I mean, to be fair, Jets fans are punching the air because they don't care. Like, they're just in hell right now because it's either the Patriots win a Super Bowl or Sam Darnold wins a Super Bowl.
Yeah, they can't win.
So they're in hell right now.
Yeah.
And then they don't get a quarterback and so on and so forth. Either way.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah, it's just crazy. But to be fair, it's definitely up there. It's got to be. I would love to see where his career takes off from here and like where he goes. If he keeps doing this every year, we're going to talk about one of those huge redemption stories. You talk about another one. Speaking of Carolina, they had both quarterbacks in redemption stories. Had Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold both in that same quarterback backfield. Kind of ironic that they both flourished outside of Carolina.
I mean,
But
to be fair, Carolina's now looking way better than the teams that both of those guys played on.
well, I mean,
It's not really
but
saying a lot.
Baker Mayfield has come out of his shell compared to where he was. Right?
Thankfully.
Cleveland cast off, Carolina cast off, goes to Tampa, makes a name for himself.
Yep.
Darnold, as you said, went through 5 different teams, and I can guarantee you, Minnesota fans are probably pissed off too because could have been their franchise quarterback. Right?
They were questioning for sure this year.
And they wanted to play, or they wanted to start 9 instead of Sam Darnold. Right?
9 instead of 14, and 9 didn't do so well.
And it's funny. All of a sudden, Seattle gets off of Pete Carroll and Geno Smith, and all of a sudden they're in the Super Bowl. But it's just one of those, like, Sam Darnold has proven his haters wrong for sure. Right? He's always going to have those demons and that kind of stuff where the big game he doesn't perform. He quieted those haters after this game.
Yeah,
he went out there, he balled it out. He tore apart this Rams defense. Again, the Rams defense, it was shaky outside of the front 4, but you still have to put up numbers. He put up numbers. He absolutely torched them. And I think, as he said, it's a full team game because you look at that defense, it's unreal. The special team, Shaheed can run back a kick any single time he touches that ball.
Yeah.
Right? And then you look at the offense put up 350 yards passing, let alone K9 putting up another probably about 60 or 70 yards rushing.
Yep.
So it's kind of crazy that he's leading this team and he's kind of found his little niche on where he fits perfectly. So, and I don't think the Seahawks team is going anywhere. I think they're realistically can only go up. It's kind of crazy to say they're in the Super Bowl. It's hard to say they can only go up, but like they're going to be Super Bowl contenders for at least the next 2-3 years for sure.
Yeah, it looks like it. So. Like that defense looks really good. I mean, Woolen, buddy, be smarter.
Yep.
Like that 2-play sequence might have been the worst ever for a single player. You have to understand the situation. You just stopped them. You got everything that you were supposed to get on that play. And then you're dumb enough to chirp and step off the field. That's what did him in. If you watch it, he steps on the white line. You can't do that. Cost the team the first down.
I get it's in the middle of the game and a heat of the moment and that kind of stuff. But like, what is going through your brain? You're like, I'm going to go step in front of a coach, chirp him, and then I'm going to go get in front of Matt Stafford and chirp him. It's like, what's the point?
Why?
Your team's winning. Do it at the end of the game.
Yeah.
If you want to go loud in front of people, do it at the end of the game. Once the game is over, you set up Puka. I mean, Puka made a really nice catch for that touchdown. But
incredible catch.
You set up the Rams to score a touchdown easily because you gave them a free first down for when it was 4th and 14 or something like that.
Yeah. You gave them a first down, and then they went right at you, and you couldn't even be within 5 yards of Puka Nacua on the throw. Like, you did everything right as a team to get the ball back. And instead, you make a bonehead decision and go chirp. Not push, not punch, not anything physical. Just chirp and step off the field. You gotta know better.
He wasn't even a player. He went to the
he was chirping the coach and then
coach basically,
and then chirp Stafford.
Yeah, but the first guy he talked to was like a backup linebacker. Like it was a no-name guy. I'm like, who are you talking to right now? Like if you wanted to go to Puka's face, if you want to go to Puka's face and that's the guy you're chirping, it's
head
not
to head
acceptable.
fine.
But it's not acceptable. But I get it.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, I locked you down. You can't do anything against me. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That happens in every single game.
100%.
But going to a coach and be like, you can't touch me, and then gets mossed on his head in the next one. It's like, what are we doing here?
It's questionable. But anyways, that's not what we were talking about. We were talking about Darnold and the 350-yard, 3-touchdown game in the conference championship will silence the big game haters. He outdueled Matt Stafford, who is the favorite, if not
80% the MVP.
Yeah. If I was going to say, if he's not, he's at least top 2 in the favorite category for MVP.
Yep.
And is a guaranteed Hall of Famer. I don't think anyone can really question that.
I mean, I think that Super Bowl definitely cemented it for him. Yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying first ballot,
Mhm.
but he's a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
And you outdueled him. He might have thrown for a few more yards, but you outdueled him. And you got your team to the Super Bowl. And now you get to go play in your division rival stadium where you've already won, I'm pretty sure, this year.
Probably.
I can't remember if they won at home or on the road because they split the division series with the 49ers. But anyways, not like you know that stadium better than the Patriots. The Patriots are going to have to come across the country. There's a reason the Seahawks are favored. And this team looks really, really good. Another piece of sound quickly, and then we'll switch gears here. But Mike Macdonald, the head coach, spoke as well. And if you listen to the post game when they were doing the trophy, he mentioned 12 is 1, which I thought was a really weird statement. But he doubled down on it in the press conference. Here's what he said.
Anyway, I don't know if anybody can hear me afterward, but I just like the power of 12 is 1 is real, Just synergy, people buying in, doing it together. We're not we don't have a bunch of superstars and all that. We're just a really good football team that's tough and connected and doesn't blink and plays the whole game.
So, for those who don't really understand what he's talking about, the idea of 12 is 1 is that every single player on that field works as a single unit, and all the fans are part of that because the Seahawks fans are the 12, which they stole from Texas and A&M, but whatever. I get it, but doubling down on that was a little odd to me. Like, I get talking about unity, Kyle, but you got to kind of change it up a little bit.
I mean, I thought there was some math that I was missing, like 12 to the power of 1 or something. I'm like, is that something I just didn't clue into
supposed
or
to
something?
know that one?
Yeah, I'm like, I know I wasn't great at math, but like, I think there's something wrong there. The way you explained it, it definitely makes sense. Like, I get what he's saying, right? The entire team plays as one. It's not just them; it's the fans and everything. It's the entire Seattle is behind them type of situation, like that type of deal. And I mean, it's true. Like, they do have a couple superstars. I would say, like JSN, that kind of stuff. All right, you're talking about Woolen, who's up there for being like probably a top 10-ish corner. Probably higher than that, actually. But
not if he keeps taking stupid penalties.
Well, that's true. But it's one of those, like, to me, that they definitely have that identity to them for sure. And to answer your question, they did win in Levi Stadium. I think it was week 17, the 13th.
I thought so.
So actually, might have been week 18, but I think it was week 17.
They won
either way
in one of the last couple
in that
weeks.
Stadium. Correct. Like they know how to win in that stadium, right?
Yep.
Obviously, Dan Brand's not there, so it might be a different story. But this team is a full, complete team. They have their coach behind them, and it's kind of crazy. Like, this is a whole redemption arc for both teams too.
Yeah,
right.
It really is.
You look at Seattle, brought in McDonald, brought in Darnold. They weren't expected to be anywhere near where they were, right?
Yep.
And they're NFC champions, potential Super Bowl champions.
Yep.
And nobody gave them a shot to begin the year. I saw something that was, I think the two teams combined was like 450 to 1 or something like that to have this matchup in the Super Bowl. And it's like, it's one of those that just shows you how unique of a Super Bowl it is this year, and that there's going to be one winner, and it's going to be interesting whether Seattle gets a little bit payback for the Patriots.
For Marshawn Lynch not getting the football.
Hey, Kenneth Walker needs a backup running back. Maybe Marshawn Lynch comes up, on the 1 yard line just to score a touchdown. I can see it happen. I can see it. I can guarantee
still
you,
bowl
all he
people
wants to do
over.
he just wants to get paid in Skittles. He doesn't care about money. Just give him like a jar full of Skittles, and he'll be like, "Yeah, I'll run the ball in from the 1, no problem."
You got to have a dollar value on the contract, so you put $1 down and then just hand him bags of Skittles.
They'll give him a 1% stake in the Skittles empire.
There you go. I like it. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's going to be entertaining. And I think both fan bases have to be happy with how the season's gone. I don't think either of them necessarily expected their team to make it to the Super Bowl. Maybe have a decent playoff run, which is fine. There's no doubt that these were good teams from the beginning. But even the team that loses, maybe a little bit down the line, not 2 Sundays from now after they lose, they might need some time to get over it. But they'll be happy with how this season went, regardless of the result, both teams, which is good.
Yep, 100%. It's one of those, as a Pats fan, we weren't supposed to be here. This is like our second year of a rebuild, or third year of a rebuild, I guess, technically. Right? We shouldn't be in the Super Bowl. The team's good enough that they've played really well. Everything's come together. It's worked. But, I would have been happy with a 1 playoff win. I would have been happy with that.
Yep.
Where this team has developed, that kind of stuff. And Seattle, again, they weren't expected to even win that division. It was the Rams division, and people were picking the Niners to finish ahead of them in the division too.
Yep.
So it's the fact that they weren't even supposed to be division winners, they're division winners, they're conference winners, and potentially Super Bowl winners. They've got to be happy, even if it's just a conference win. They're happy because they know, hey, we can get right back to this game. We know we should be here. So it's I think either way, as you said, teams are gonna be happy.
Yeah. Couple quick points, and we'll jump on to a new topic. But in the chat, Braden Page 4126. Interesting fact: every time the Super Bowl has been played in between the two teams, one team traveling east, one team traveling west, the team traveling west has won. Is this good news for the Pats, Kyle?
I don't want to jinx anything, but I mean, yes, there's a few trends that look good as well.
Okay. I'll go on the other side now. Ready for me to unjinx it for you?
Okay.
2 quick stats about Drake May as a quarterback. No quarterback whose name has less than 6 letters has ever won the Super Bowl. And no quarterback whose initials were DM has ever won the Super Bowl. 0-2. That would be Dan Marino. So,
well, sounds like
something's going to give.
No, Patriots already set 1 record this year. Just going to set a couple more. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. I mean, just to kind of annoy some of the Bills fans out there. The Bills are also the only team in the last ever of the NFL to win 6 years straight of 1 playoff game and not have a Super Bowl. Just bring it out there.
Yep. So, there you go. All right, let's bring this a little bit closer to home, Kyle, because we've talked to NFL a lot the last 3 shows.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's time we talk a little bit of MLB. And we'll focus on the Jays because that's our hometown team. That's the team we both cheer for, usually. This year especially.
Yep.
They had an interesting offseason. Missed out on both Bichette and Tucker. But I want to pose this question to you. Is it necessarily a bad thing that they missed out on those 2 guys? They picked up Kazuma Okamoto, Dylan Cease, Cody Ponce. They get a full season potentially of Santander. Ernie Clement, Addison Barger are now full-time players. You keep most of that core intact, which you can make of that what you will. I think it's still a good thing. They add Tyler Rogers to the bullpen, which I think is a huge get for them. This team still looks very good. They're coming off of a World Series berth. They were an inch away from winning the World Series on a slide, a catch away from winning the World Series in extras, and a home run. Right? Yeah. They were that close to being the champions. And they look really good. Let me run through what the projected lineup is. I mean, This is off of RotoChamp. This is not my projected lineup order, but this is what they're looking like. Okay? George Springer at DH leading off. Addison Barger in one of the outfield spots. I would assume right field, just for the arm. Vladdy at first. Santander in left field, I would assume. Kirky at catcher. Varsho in center. Okamoto at third, Ernie at second, Jimenez at short. Those two might flip depending on where Jimenez feels more comfortable because Ernie doesn't care where he plays.
Yeah.
If they can hit similar, I'm not going to say exactly like they did last year, that's a pretty good lineup. Assuming Santander's 1 year really bad season is just that, a 1 year really bad season, they have to be one of the favorites in the American League.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like their floor, I think, is division winner, if I'm being honest. I think it's
The
obviously
Yankees are pretty good.
Yankees are good, but the Yankees are running it back with the same team they had. They haven't added anything to this off season.
Right. But
and
hold on.
It didn't work for them last year.
They were tied
Right.
with the Jays in the division.
Yes.
That's
No,
what I'm
I
saying. Like,
understand that. I'm just
if
saying,
we're talking regular season, like I could see the Yankees being 1 or 2 games better than the Jays, but when it comes to playoffs, the Jays are, I think, better fit for the playoffs. That's why I say floor is hard to say division champs.
I just think the floor is the division champs because I think honestly, the way this team is built and like the pieces they've added in the offseason, the biggest issue with the Jays last year was they had no pitching depth. They now have an abundance of pitching depth, right?
Yeah, starters and
yes,
bullpen.
yes, they lost Bo Bichette, but Bo Bichette was hurt for a good chunk of the middle of the year, and then throughout the end of the year too, right? So it's like they're losing him, but they never really had him. If that makes sense, right? And the Jays team is not built on star power, right? They have star power, but it's not built.
They
on
have Vladdy.
It's built on contact, get on base, and do that kind of stuff. And the pieces they added help that. And I think Cease is going to have a huge bounce back year, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very curious what Ponce does because I don't know what to expect. If I'm being quite honest, right? He left the MLB. He was throwing 92. All of a sudden, he comes back to MLB and he's averaging 96. So it's like, not sure. Are we going to get in between? Like, what are we going to be doing? And then I still think they have a couple more pieces to go. I do think they go out and look for a guy like Brendan Donovan. So I still think there's a couple more pieces going there. So it's that you add that to a platoon. All of a sudden, you're rotating him and Ernie Clement. Jimenez is great defensively, but you're not going to get a whole lot on the bat. But then, as you said, they added to the bullpen. I wouldn't be surprised if they had another lefty in there as well, just to give him a little bit more depth. Because, God, if I have to watch Brandon Little and Flaherty go into lefty in the playoffs again, I might have a stroke. But in saying that, like the Colomés out there, which I think would be a great lefty ad, but to each their own. Yep. I think it's a good offseason, to go to your original point. I think it's a good offseason. It would have been great to bring back Bichette or bring in Tucker.
Yeah.
But if you look at those contracts, it ain't worth it.
No, I agree.
Like I'm not paying Tucker $60 million. I'm sorry. Also, the fact that the Dodgers are paying Tucker and Ohtani $3 million total as a salary is a joke. But that's why the 2027 season will be a lockout. That's beside the point. But it's just that's an absolute joke.
Yep.
But like Bichette is going to be on the Mets for 1 year. 100%. He's going to have an opt out.
If he thinks it's going to lockout, he might stay and not opt out so that he gets a contract.
Fair. But like it's one of those, the way that whole contract works, if he opts out, he gets an additional $5 million.
Yep.
He's going to potentially opt out just to get the $5 million. Right? If that $5 million is his salary for 2027, because all of a sudden he's it's a lockout. Woo, great.
Yeah.
Right. But the Jays were never going to pay him $40-something million.
42.
Right. It's just not realistic.
No.
Yeah. Like 42. And then I think if he opt out, it ends up being 47 total for the 1 year. It's never going to happen. And I think it's a bad look on the Jays because, they struck out again on a star player, right? So you have that negative connotation. But at the same point, they've already had a good offseason up until that point. And I think they learned from the previous years, like, you can't just wait for the big fish to sign.
No.
You have to go out and do these other moves because that's what happened in the previous offseasons. They waited for Ohtani, they waited for Soto. All of a sudden, those two don't sign with them, and it's, who's left?
Yeah.
Right? So I think that's why, going out and signing Cease on like the second day of free agency, right? Like it really worked in their favor. They got the big guy they wanted. They really wanted Ponce. They didn't give him the most money comparatively, but they gave him the most security.
Yeah.
Right. They went out, signed Okamoto. They wanted him. They were potentially in other people. Didn't really work out. But it just, to me, it's good, but not great.
Yeah. But they were in the World Series, so good might be good enough.
Except when your World Series opponent signs the number one free agent. That kind of hurts.
But, and we can get into that in a bit. Yeah. So I'm gonna put a pin in the Dodger conversation. I will come back to that. I really like what the Jays did in the offseason. Right? Yeah, you lose Scherzer, you lose Bassett. Fine, that sucks because those guys were fantastic down the stretch. I think Scherzer pitched phenomenally in the playoffs when he was called upon, and Bassett became a relief pitching guru out of nowhere. Loved seeing him in the playoffs. He was awesome.
Yep.
But during the season, they were okay. Mm-hmm. They were fine. They weren't the problem in games that we lost when they pitched, but they also weren't like lighting it up. And now you add in Cease, who I know he had a down year last year, but if you look at it based off of defensive stats, his team did not help him out in the slightest.
Yep.
This Jays team is a fantastic defensive team. All the way through. They might have the best defensive first baseman in the league with Vladdy right now, with what he can do with his arm and everything. Ernie playing full-time, Jimenez playing full-time. Those are two Gold Glove level infielders, right? Okamoto might be the weak link out of the group.
Yep.
Barger's defense has gotten fantastic, especially near the end of last season. He started being able to read balls a lot more better. He became more comfortable in the outfield, and he has a cannon for an arm. Varsho is a Gold Glove center fielder. And Santander is serviceable, right?
Yep.
If you need a shutdown, throw Lucas out there.
Well, I think that's the other thing, too. You look at Luke's was in the starting lineup last year. He's now on the bench.
Yep.
Right? I mean, knowing the Jays are going to rotate through every single player on that roster at some point in the game, Schneider loves using his subs.
And I get the defensive subs, especially with guys like Santander who aren't the most fleet of foot in the outfield. I don't mind using a 7th or 8th inning sub and throwing Straw and Lucas out there, right? Like
just don't do it in the 7th inning of a World Series game and you have nobody left on the bench.
Regular season game.
I understand that. I'm just saying that's what kind of cost us in a couple of those World Series games, especially that extra inning game when we had nobody left in the roster.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, it also didn't help that Bichette was hurt too.
Well,
so he wasn't going to make it through extra innings anyway.
If Bichette's healthy, he runs the bases, he starts every game.
Yeah,
you can bring other guys off the bench. You have more bats, and I think that's why they need to go get another bat. To be honest, like yes, Lucas is going to be your now lefty bat off the bench, right? You didn't have that before, but I personally I don't want to see Davis Schneider as a bench bat because I think you need a guy on the bench that is a contact guy, can get on base. Like, you need him to pinch hit. Like, that's a guy. And that's why, like, again, we talked about this in the office. A guy like Luis Ariz screams at me saying, platoon with Ernie at second base.
Yeah.
Ariz is your guy who hits righties.
Yep.
Right? Ernie can kill lefties. Right? Ariz, he's okay defensively, but if you need a guy coming off the bench in the playoffs, you bring out him as a lefty he'll get on base. He will get on base. You need a guy,
the king of it.
Like it's crazy. You go back to like the 2016 team. He is the Michael Bourne of that team, where it's like he's just the guy. He ain't gonna get much. Might steal a base here and there. Probably not.
Not gonna get a whole lot of power.
But he's gonna get a single. You need a guy to drive in a run or hit a single. He will put the ball in play. Right? Like that's like IKF coming up as like a pinch hitter like in the playoffs. It's like that terrifies me because I have no idea if this guy's going to ground out a pitcher or like strike out. No idea. With Ariz, the ball's going to be in play. So
it's true. Yeah, I think they need another bench bat, a real bench bat. Like, as much as I love Davis Schneider and Miles Straw, who were integral this year to get them to the World Series, they're not the most intimidating bats.
No.
I mean, Schneider did hit a home run to lead off the game in Dodger Stadium.
Yeah,
Right? He has his moments.
They have their moments, for sure. 100% they have their moments. But, like, again, to go back to the extra inning game in the World Series where Miles Straw, IKF, and Jimenez were your 7, 8, 9.
Yeah,
that's
not
an
ideal.
auto walkthrough. Like, next inning, here we go. See if the top of the lineup can do something, right?
Yeah,
and that's it. It seems like even if it's not like a just straight bench piece, a platoon thing would work because you might have to platoon somebody with Okamoto. You don't know. We don't know how.
Yeah, we don't know what we're looking at yet.
So
we don't know. And maybe it's an outfielder, and you platoon Barger with Okamoto.
Could be.
Right? We don't know. We'll see. But I like what they did. Back to my original point. I do like what they did. I think they've done a lot of good in this offseason, right? And the American League, as we learned last year, is wide open.
Yep.
Obviously, we have to play the games. Obviously, we have to see what happens this year. But the Tigers are good, but they're beatable. The Yankees are good, but they're beatable.
Yep.
The Red Sox are good, but beatable, right? Nobody in the American League has separated themselves. The Mariners are good, but beatable. The Astros might be good, are definitely beatable.
To be determined on that one. Yeah.
Right? But they're definitely beatable.
Yep.
No one is clear cut number one like we have in the NL. Or even
totally.
number 2 or number 3.
I mean in the NL you're fighting for 2, 3, 4 is what you're doing. Right? Again, the Dodgers know they just have to make the playoffs and then they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, in the AL, it's kind of ironic because the AL East, you could probably take arguably 4 teams out of that, outside of the Rays.
Yeah.
And they would probably compete for the division crown in almost every division. Yeah.
As long as the Orioles figure it out this year, because they were awful last year.
Yeah, I think they brought in a couple pieces. I think,
I
a
agree.
couple down years from Rushman and, Gunnar Henderson was good, but he wasn't franchise type of thing.
And the funny thing is, if you put the Rays in one of these other American League divisions, right, the AL Central, for instance, the Rays might compete for that title just because they're scrappy.
Well, and that's why, like, it's kind of crazy that, like, again, you could take Red Sox, Yankees, Jays, put them in another division. There's a chance they all win that opposite division they move into.
Agreed.
Like, it's kind of crazy.
Agreed. I said we would get into it. I wish we didn't have to. But the Dodgers do it again. They load up again. They get Tucker. Who is competing with them this year? Realistically.
Honestly, I don't know. if I'm being kind of straightforward. Like,
and this is what is going to lead to the lockout that you mentioned, Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a question in the chat. How probable is the MLB lockout? That's from Charlie74666.
65%.
I would say it's 65-70% that there's a lockout. And that's not to mention it might get worse before the lockout.
Well, it's just, and the main key points are salary cap is what a lot of the owners want and that kind of stuff. But to be fair, and people say, well, you can't blame the Dodgers for using what they have.
Absolutely not.
I agree. Like, I agree. You can't blame the Dodgers for, like, hey, we have money, let's sign people.
Yeah.
Right?
The Jays are doing the
to-
same thing, by the way. For any Jays fan who's complaining, the Jays have the second wealthiest ownership group.
Wealthiest owner total group. Yeah.
Okay, so wealthiest ownership group.
Yep.
And they have the second highest salary or third highest salary. It's not we're penny pinching.
It's and I mean, they did defer payments on Cease's deal too. It's not deferring
$70
$25
million.
or $26 million, right? It's deferring, hey, we're going to pay you $5 million a year as a signing bonus instead of paying you the salary. But, like, to me, it's more of these, like, bottom feeder teams, I guess you could say, just spending money in general.
Yeah.
Right? Like Oakland, Vegas, whatever you want to call them.
The Athletics. They don't have a name.
The
right
Athletics. There we go. Like, they signed the largest free agent contract they've had to Luis Severino last year.
Yep.
That says something in general. Luis Severino is not a top pitcher by any means.
No.
Right? He's made probably a 3-4 on a majority of teams. Right? The fact that he was the biggest signing they've had just shows like they have a great young core. You don't think if the Athletics went out and signed a Kyle Tucker to this deferred payments, you don't think that would make them a way better team? You don't think it'd bring in more people to Vegas of that kind of stuff? Like, I understand you have to kind of fit within what your limits are, but at a certain point, there has to be a floor too of where a team has to spend to bring it way more competitive around the league in total.
Yeah.
Right. We keep talking about the Dodgers spending all this money and they're at the top. It's the bottom too.
Yeah.
Right. If the bottom teams don't spend, the Dodgers are just going to get everybody because nobody wants to go to those teams.
And you mentioned the Athletics. They're not even the worst.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. Their tax payroll is 21st in the league at $144 million.
Yeah. I think Colorado's
the
probably on there too.
Marlins
Marlins too. Yeah.
is at $100 million. That's it.
Yeah. I think they were saying something that like, I think it was Soto or one of the recent signings. Their pay for the entire contract is more than the Marlins are paying their entire team.
Yeah.
So,
well, Bichette's $126 million contract total is worth more than the bottom 4 teams in the league have salary.
Yeah.
And I guarantee, Kyle, you could not guess all 4. One of them surprises me. Bottom 4. We've already given you Miami. Athletics are not there.
Miami, Colorado?
No. Colorado is 23rd, so 8th lowest.
I guess they're paying Chris Bryant like $25 million to sit in AAA.
Yeah.
Kansas City?
Nope. They're not even in the bottom 10.
Trying to think of, the Rays potentially.
Yep. Rays are second lowest. $110 million.
Say just Florida teams in general.
No state tax, and they still can't raise their value.
Kind of funny how that works, eh? You want to defer payments in a no state tax, like screaming hello. Like, what are we doing here?
All right, so you got 30 and 29. You need 27 and 28.
27, 28. Okay. Go through the teams. Cleveland, no. Cleveland's got big. Really?
Cleveland has the 3rd lowest payroll.
It's kind of ironic too because they're apparently going to restructure Jose's contract and pay him less. Kind of funny that the fact that they can't afford that. I figured Cleveland just by having J-Ram was high enough. But I guess
J-Ram's contract is about half of their salary.
Then that's I'm like now that I think about it going through that they're essentially like a AAA plus roster outside of J-Ram and Stephen Kwan. Right? They haven't paid what's his name, Gavin Williams yet. So
no, not yet.
That'll be a payment. The last team, AL
made a big signing this offseason.
Trying to think of the teams right now. No, Texas wouldn't be down there. No. West, Central would be. No, Tigers wouldn't be there, would they?
No.
Why am I forgetting divisions right now? Oh, Angels?
No. That would be the West. No.
Is it in the Central?
I'm pretty sure. Now you have me questioning it. Yes, they are American League Central.
Okay, so what's that? It's Kansas City, Cleveland, Detroit. What am I missing out of that division right now?
Well, you're missing
Minnesota.
It's not Minnesota. They are 24th in the league in payroll, so 7th worst. The White Sox, brother.
Yeah, they're not a relevant franchise. It's fine.
But they are a franchise, and that's all that matters.
It's kind of ironic that Murakami, the greatest player ever, signed for $20 million in Chicago. And
but I said they made a big signing, and they're still bottom 4.
So do you think there's a chance that he signed in Chicago thinking he was going to the Cubs, but then realized, oh crap, I went to the wrong Chicago team? Okay.
No, I don't think an agent would allow that.
Just a thought. I mean, he went to the White Sox after being rumored to go again to the Dodgers and just making the Japanese super team.
Yep. I don't think an agent would allow that.
I mean, to be fair, the White Sox, great move, low risk, high reward. If he has a great year, you go out and you trade him in a cheap contract, and you can get yourself a ton of prospects.
Exactly.
So
they just gave themselves an out potentially for next year. So,
yep.
All right, last thing before we move on to the lowly Maple Leafs quickly. I just want to talk about Bo Bichette. He signs in New York. $42 million per season.
Mm-hmm.
What did you make of the deal, Kyle? And after that, we'll listen to his opening presser, which was an interesting one.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either, so we're going to be watching this in real time. So, honestly, as an overall deal, it's great for both players. You know, Bo gets paid. It'll be very interesting to see how many errors. I'm taking his over errors on this season by playing third base. So that's a real question mark on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But like overall, as the Mets, gives them a great contact hitter, gets somebody to pair up with Lindor and Soto. You know, you're talking about teams that can compete with the Dodgers. I still think the Mets need a little bit more work on their pitching.
Yeah,
they brought in Peralta too, which is a huge get for them as well. But they're trying to load up and be like, hey, we're going to try and compete. It's going to be them, Phillies, and the Dodgers. Ironically enough, Phillies in their division would be a very big question mark. But the Phillies have their own question marks with Wheeler. So that's why I think Bichette's a great fit there. They're playing a lot of positionless baseball.
Well, they don't have a first baseman or a third baseman, really.
Well, I mean, he's playing third. They've already confirmed that part. So
I know, but they don't have a natural first baseman on the roster or third baseman on the roster. They have 4 shortstops.
Fair.
They're just giving it a whirl.
I think, honestly, and like looking at some of the free agents, there's a decent amount of first basemen still available. So if they want to go out and get somebody, they can. It's not going to be Polar Pete by any means, but like, you know, they can get some serviceable guys. If they want a Gold Glover, they go out and get Ty France, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That type of thing, right? But again, as a lineup perspective, it's great for New York, right? They missed out on Tucker. Well, I mean, but even lineup wise, just like let alone position wise, lineup wise, it's great because it gives them somebody they can, you know, if they want to go Lindor 1, they go Bichette 2, and now Soto hits 3.
Yeah,
right. Like that to me, that's a scary top of the lineup that you have to face, you know, every third inning. That's kind of a crazy combination.
Yeah,
now,
I would probably flip Soto and Bichette in that, kind of like the Jays did.
My only thought, I mean, I guess Lindor is a switch hitter, but like my only thought would have been lefty, righty, lefty. Would be the only flip on that one.
Maybe they flip it depending on who they're playing.
I mean, I could also see Bichette leading off, and you drop Lindor down to 2, right?
Yeah.
Or
there's lots of options.
Lindor,
They have options.
Lindor goes 3. To me, I'd rather have Soto up as third with potentially 2 guys on than him hit second with Lindor up.
I agree, but they tend to keep him in 2. So, anyways,
yeah. Well, I mean, he also have a Latin rule where 39% of the roster has to be Latin, just because of Juan Soto is kind of crazy too. But
neither here nor there. But let's get to Bichette's presser because he had some interesting comments, and I want to get into it after. So here was his opening comment from his New York Mets presser.
Very exciting to be here. You know, this has been an exciting time for me. A lot of, several conversations with teams, several good conversations, but with a lot of prayer and conversations. Family and my agents and even some friends, came to the conclusion that it was very obvious that I wanted to be a Met. Mr. Cohen and David have put together an organization that is looking to win every single year, has an opportunity to win a World Series every single year, and a roster that backs that up. And it's very exciting to be a part of the city, one of the best cities in the world, maybe the best city in the world. Fans, some of the best fans in the world, and all of that is something I've always wanted to be a part of. So excited to be here and excited to be a Met.
Okay, so couple interesting comments from that. One, he always wanted to be a Met.
Why?
Very different from what he was saying all season, where he always wanted to be a J and play with Vladdy.
Wanted to be with the team lifelong. Yeah.
Lifelong, baby. Lifelong. He's not with the team lifelong. Then he also made the comment about it being the best city in the world. Okay, I get you kind of have to do those things when you're getting introduced to a team. Fine. I don't know how much he believes of that, but whatever. Do you? And then he talks about being a World Series contender every year and that this team is built to win, blah, 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 blah. The team you were just on went to the World Series last year and is built to probably be doing that for the next few years based on contracts and everything. I don't understand that line. Like, it seems odd. If that was what you were looking for, you had that in Toronto too. Maybe you wanted a different experience or something like that, and I would have been like, okay, yeah, good. Go ahead, have fun. Like, do your thing. You're making $42 million. You can do whatever you want. I don't really care, right?
Yep.
But the comments just seem like sort of a backhand at the Jays.
I could see that, yeah.
And I just didn't really understand it. I know he probably didn't mean it that way, and I want to make that very clear that I don't know if he meant it that way. It just kind of came across that way. That, I was looking for someone who was going to compete every single year. I wanted to be in a fan base that truly loved the team. Okay, you had that.
I don't think he did his research.
Yeah.
Because nobody hates New York more than New York fans. Like, Yankees fans hate Mets. Mets fans hate Yankees. Like, that's one thing. Second off, they haven't won the division since 2015.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about? World Series contenders. They didn't even make the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
Like,
I just don't
they
get
two of their last years, they missed the playoffs. What are we talking about here? Like, let alone making it. Don't get me wrong. They lost in the NLCS in 2024, but, like, they were never beating the Dodgers. Let's be real.
No. You have a better chance of making the World Series in the American League.
And that's what I don't understand. Is like all these people going to the NL. It's like, why? You're not making a World Series. What are we doing here?
No, I don't get it. Again, that's why I wanted to play these comments for you, Kyle, because I've heard it. Like, it's bothered me.
It's crazy. Like, oh yeah, greatest fans in the world. I'm like, nobody hates New York fans more than anybody else in the entire world, across all sports.
Nobody hates the Mets more than the Mets.
Correct.
Like if they're going great, they love them.
I cannot wait for him to have a week where he goes like 0 for or has like one hit, and the Mets fans are saying every slur in the entire encyclopedia,
every media member.
They're going after his family. They're going, this was the worst signing in the history of the MLB. Like, I can't wait for that week, and he'll be like, why did I come here?
Like, I'm opting out after year one.
Yeah, 100%. I'm going home. Like, go
home.
away.
Yeah. Anyways, I just wanted to get to that. We'll move on now, and it's time to talk about the Leafs. It's painful.
Yep.
5 straight losses. 1 point on a 5-game homestand. 7 of their last 8 games have ended in a loss. Is it time to make a change, Kyle? Because it looks like this team just doesn't have it. From goaltending to defense to forwards, they've given up the most 5-on-5 goals in the league.
Yep.
That is not good. That is not okay. Especially when your power play is not clipping like it used to. You're not blowing teams out at 5-on-5 yourself. Even if you're giving up the most, if you're outscoring that by 50, fine, whatever. It's just an open game, right?
Yep.
They're not doing that. They have 3 more goals for at 5-on-5 than they've given up.
Yep.
Their penalty kill is fantastic. One of the tops in the league. But their
kind of
power play,
they play better with one player down.
Their power play is brutal. They're not getting the goaltending they got last year. And I don't think the goalies are the main problem, but This team looks disinterested. They look lost sometimes 5-on-5. Berube looks like he doesn't have any answers, and I'm not blaming him either.
Berube looks like he should be in the hospital, to be fair.
Right
But,
now,
like,
yes. I
yes.
mean over the season. But
100%.
yes, right now he should be in the hospital.
Yeah.
Do they need to make a change?
I think yes. I think as of right now, I mean, you're 8 points back right now with, I guess, just over a month until the trade deadline. At this point, 8 points is probably too much to get over.
8 points in 29 games.
Yeah. If it was 5 points, it's a different story. It's kind of crazy you're saying like a 3-point difference is like night and day. You know, if they go on a run and they win every game in February, very different situation. Like we're talking a completely different situation, but that ain't going to happen.
No.
So I think it's, you're going to keep your core. It's not a full blow up. It's not like, oh, we're getting Matthews out of here, Nylander. You're not doing that. It's just not the reality. But, you look at free agents. You're looking at Yarncroc. You're looking at Bobby McMahon. Although I would love to keep Bobby McMahon. Like, that's, to me, like, those are the type of players you're going to get the most for. Like, to me, Bobby McMahon could bring you a decent return just for that. I mean, I think the other pieces, too, you got to look at the defense, right? They brought in Carlo. That trade looked great on hindsight, or not in hindsight, sorry, it looked great at the time.
Did it?
In hindsight, not so much. Yes, I think he
It
could have been that
good.
piece.
I think it looked great.
They looked good in the playoffs, and like it looked like that team could have done it.
Fair enough.
But this is a fraction of what that team looked like. Like they don't have the confidence, they don't have
100%.
any sort of thing like that. So I think you got to look at the two big defensemen on your team. You got to look at OEL and you got to look at Carlo, right? What can those pieces bring back? You're likely going to get some sort of first round pick for probably Carlo.
Yep.
I would assume the way OAL is playing, because he's looking like a stud right now, you get some sort of first round pick somehow with, it's conditional or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are the two pieces for sure that you should be looking at. You got to look at Lawton. You got to look at Troy Stetcher. Right outside of that, I think you got to look at Riley too.
Yes.
It's just gonna be a matter of if he moves his no trade clause.
Yep.
That's the issue.
100%.
But like you look at those players, they're all expiring contracts or have 1 year left instead of Riley. And that's the type of players you got to do. You got to get some pieces back, because you don't have a first or a second this year. You don't have a first next year. It's kind of tough. And like, I mean, to be honest, you could also look at like Domi or Michelli too. What are those guys going to bring back? But those are offensive first guys, right? Not big defensively. So are playoff teams wanting to pick up those guys? I don't know. It depends, right? Maybe a team like your team, like Colorado, maybe they want Domi to be like that second, third line guy. They have enough defensive pieces. They're a great defensive team, but they need another facilitator, like that type of thing. That's to me where a guy like Domi could step in. Michelli can be that fringe middle six guy for any of these, contending teams. Fit in, and he's got that goal scoring. He's not going to be the guy who's going to shut down a team.
No,
right? He ain't going to play shutdown minutes, but he can help out a team. So curious as to what they can get back, but those are the pieces to me that are on the block.
Yeah, and basically what you're saying is that the four forwards who are untouchable are Matthews, Nylander, Nyes, Tavares.
I mean, I would even look at Tavares, but to be honest, I don't think you can trade him.
Yeah, okay. So we'll keep him as a untouchable because I don't think you can trade him.
Yes, those are the four I would say you can't touch unless you're willing to absolutely blow it up, which I don't think they are. Those are the four that do not move.
And then on the back end, Jake McCabe, you're not moving him. He's got a no trade clause. Mm-hmm. And honestly, at 32, at 4.5, he's a guy that you can keep on that team regardless, right? You're not going to get as much for him anyway. So
unless somebody asks for him and they're like, "Hey, we'll give you a first and a third," then you're like, "Okay, yeah, we'll do it." Like if it's a blowaway offer, I think everybody's on the table outside of the big four. Yeah. I think everybody's on the table if it's a blowaway offer. But I just don't see. I mean, Cowan's not going anywhere. Let's be real. That's probably 5, I guess, is what you could say.
Yeah.
Right. But I could see like a Nick Waugh.
100%. I was going to bring him up.
Big contender. Like he could be the perfect contender type of guy. That
Lawrence.
Vegas tries to bring him back. Who knows?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Lawrence could
Lawrence
also
will
be an
be
interesting piece.
He'll be a guy that you could get, a 4th-round pick for, maybe something like that, right? He's going to be their 4th-line guy. He's going to crash and bang. He'll chip in every now and then offensively, but he's the perfect guy in the playoffs. Like
Exactly.
Lawrence is the perfect guy in the playoffs.
Exactly.
But
they have pieces that could move, but no great pieces that will move.
Correct.
So to blow it up, it's going to be really, really tough because, and honestly, maybe they look at that in the offseason. Maybe it is time to blow it up. Are Wall and Stolars the answer in net? It's not looking like it.
I think Stolars has gone to the deadline.
Right? Is Hill to be the answer?
I think a Wall Hildeby combo is the best you got right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Aktamayev looks good in the AHL. Like he's developing. So like to me, I think the combo probably in 2 years' time will be like a Hildeby Aktamayev combo, because I think they'll move off of Wall, if I'm being quite honest, just because Wall keeps going on. Hey, if you could play a full season, we've been saying this for 3 years now.
Yeah.
Right.
And at some point, you either have to do it or you have to go away. Yeah.
Correct. So I think Wall's been great, and I love him when he's healthy. There's a few things he's got to tweak in his game, but to me, Hildeby has finally got his chance, and he's looked good.
He's looked good. He's not looked great, but to be fair, the team in front of him is.
He was never
awful.
a top prospect, though.
No, but I'm not even trying to rip on him because of how he's played. The team in front of him has looked awful for big stretches of this season.
The
Makes
fact that your best 2 defensemen are OEL and Troy Stetcher, who you got off of waivers, says something about your entire lineup.
Agreed. And I've said this for years. I think the only place Riley will waive his no trade or no movement clause would be to Vancouver, because that's where he's from. They don't have much.
I mean, they got stuff back from the Quinn Hughes trade.
Yeah.
But
they don't have much that they would move.
Well, that's the thing. If you're Vancouver, why would you trade Quinn Hughes and then go and grab Morgan Riley? It does nothing for your roster.
No.
Now, in saying that, I could see him, if another Western Canadian team, say Edmonton Oilers, want to add another piece on their back end. It doesn't help them defensively, I'll say that. No. But again, I don't think Darnell Nurse is doing them any help there either at $10 million or $9 million, whatever the hell it is. Is that type of thing where Riley could be a secondary, he'd be on a second pairing. You got Bouchard on your first power play, Riley's on your second power play. Does that help them?
Yep.
Right? You pair him with Ekholm to kind of counter the defensive issues. I could see a possibility there. It's all about cap and that kind of stuff. But to me, like, if he's willing to wait for Vancouver, I could see him willing to wait for Edmonton too.
Potentially. Because he's from BC. That was why.
Yeah, it's Western Canada. Alberta to BC is a hour and a half flight.
Yeah.
So
that could be interesting. That could be a potential, and we will see. Anything you want to add before we head out, Kyle? Anything else you want to talk about before we head out?
No, I mean we'll talk next week before the Super Bowl, obviously. I'm very excited for that. As you said earlier, we'll do bets and see what kind of crazy things we can see on that one.
Maybe try to get Haley on for a 10-minute segment. Seattle versus Patriot hosts. That'll be fun.
We'll have to do it. I was gonna say again, as you said last week, the Garage Door Sports good luck charm has continued.
Except for me.
No matter what, one Garage Door Sports team is going to be winning that Super Bowl.
The only way it could truly continue is if this goes to overtime and a team wins by 1 point. Because that's as close as both teams could possibly get to winning the Super Bowl with one team actually winning the game.
Hear me out. The way we could do it, and I don't like this as a Patriots fan, the Seattle Seahawks win.
Okay.
But the Patriots cover. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Super Bowl. Seahawks win the Super Bowl. Right? You take the Seahawks, the Patriots plus points. Both people win on that side.
Last second field goal to win it, so that it's like close all the way down to it. There we go. We've solved the problem. You're gonna hate it.
And then I take
Kyle
the week
cries
off
in
of
the
work
corner.
because I'm on a watch.
Kyle's crying in the corner. We'll have to console him the entire time.
I'd be in a fighting mood after that.
I'm going to avoid you at that point then. Anyways, that'll do it, folks. Thank you for watching. For those tuning in on YouTube, we appreciate it. For the questions, we really appreciate it. Keep sending those questions in all throughout. Make sure you tune in every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube. The podcast will be out on your favorite podcatcher every week. Don't forget to check out our social medias. We've been putting out clips. We've been putting out graphics. We are having a ton of fun with it. So make sure you check us out at Garage Door Sports on TikTok and Instagram, and at Garage Door Sport because they have a character limit on X. That always pissed me off. But anyways, make sure you check us out. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on all the socials to get all the best content. We will make sure we keep bringing it to you. For Kyle Vardy, my name is Nick McPhair. We appreciate you. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.